Okay, sorry about that. My camera stopped. So this is part 2 of my video on young Dolph and pretty girls loving trap music. So if you're just tuning into this video, be sure to watch part 1 before you come to this one. So as I was saying, there are really shitty people on this earth who are just so damaged. There's no saving them. And, it's just sad because this hood mentality in the black community and this is, the black community is not homogenous because this is not what I grew up around, okay? But I'm aware of the fact that there's a certain hood mentality amongst certain black people in this country where it's like you have to have bodies or you have to kill another black man to get respect, and that's, killing somebody who's a big name or whatever it is. It's something that you're proud of, right? And I think that's disgusting, and it's pathological. And we do have a lot of hip-hop artists who perpetuate that because they rap about it, right? But rapping about something and doing something is two different things, right? Now, I'm not an expert on Dolph's life, but to my understanding, and just from the music that I've heard, he talks about, expensive clothes and cars and girls and how he doesn't trust bitches, as he says. And, like the times that I've heard him speak about violence in a self-defense way, and there is some violence, but I don't think, from the music that I've heard, I don't think that it's like the majority of it is violence and killing people and shooting people. And I think that in hip-hop, there's a lot of rappers that have talked about that and they're still here, right? And some people talk about that, but they're not going out and doing that, which is like the same thing with movies. You have actors who play really violent, horrible roles, but they may not be going out and doing that in real life. I mean, hip-hop is supposed to be real, but a lot of it isn't, okay? So I'm just saying, sometimes people are metaphorical, whatever. I don't think his music was that, horrible. But I understand how hip-hop can be hypocritical, where people cry and say it's a shame and this needs to stop when somebody dies. But then, the rest of the time they're rocking out to it. Now, I'm going to say something on the flip side. Like when people be so against trap music, right? One of the things about hip-hop is that from the very beginning, dancing was a part of it. And somewhere in the late 90s, early 2000s, I feel like dance started to not be as important. And now what has revived it a lot is trap music. And with trap music, those beats, those are them southern beats. Like I'm from New York, so, stuff from up top from New York is great. I love stuff from the 90s, even stuff from now from New Yorkers. But I'm just saying that 90s era was dope. And the South was doing things in the 90s too. You had Timbaland and Missy Elliott, different. You had Outkast, so Southern rappers were doing things then too. But I'm just saying that, but they weren't like. So I'm just saying that now that this trap sound is not just, of course, from Southern rappers. There are people from the North and the West who've also used those beats, but those beats come from the South, right? And the South is very musical with the bands and all of that, and those beats, they make a woman want to dance, and they make a woman want to shake her hips and twerk, which is a healing thing for us. Women get demonized. Black women get white girls don't get demonized. White girls could twerk all day. Nobody has a problem with it. When black women do it, it's too much. Oh, she's disrespecting herself. Black people get embarrassed. Black people who have been colonized, they have a colonial mindset, puritanical mindset, that patriarchal religion got in them, right? Who are like embarrassed when they see black women doing that, and they think a black woman is disrespecting herself because she's half naked or because she's shaking her ass, right? When that's what we've been doing. Our African ancestors were doing that before they came here. And, being on this land, okay, and in other parts of the Americas, i.e. Haiti, Brazil, Colombia, etc., right? We started shaking even harder. I feel like there's more intense gyrations and shakes and black dances over here than in Africa, unless you're talking about the Congo. But even the Afrobeat stuff, I love Afrobeats, but it doesn't have as much gyrating, undulating, and all that as you'll find in twerk, bounce, a lot of the I'm not a big fan of soca, but you got a lot of whining in soca. You got dance hall, you got a lot of the Haitian stuff, the samba in Brazil, champeta in Colombia, the way Peruvians dance. It's a lot of shaking and gyrating, right? And that is because there's healing properties. I talk about this in other videos, okay? There are healing properties for men and women in moving the hips and dancing in general, moving the body, getting the blood flowing, increasing our mind-body connection. But we store so much trauma in our hips and our womb space. And that's for men and women, but that's even more detrimental to women because we have a uterus, we give birth, and yada, 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 right? It can affect our sexual energy. Most of our blood flow runs through here as well, right? So this is it's our sacred center. It's a very important area. And our ancestors knew that. That's why they danced the way they did. Were our ancestors disrespecting themselves? See, this is the thing. I study these dances, and this is it. Most black people don't know anything about this. They don't study black dances, the history of it. If you did study the history of it, you would know that the colonizers told us our bodies were indecent and to put more clothes on because we didn't have on all these clothes. Of course, if you were brought someplace to the north, then you had to put clothes on. But people who were living in the hot, tropical, no, they weren't walking around with a whole bunch of clothes on. But the colonizers, the slave masters, said, this is indecent, cover up. They made fun of our butts, okay, while then imitating us, okay? They would make fun of black women's butts, but then they would put these fake butts in their thing. And the dancing, when you look at black dance in the Caribbean, from North America, from South America, all of it is dictated and shaped by slave society and what we were allowed to do and what was considered dance. Because they try to stop us from dancing at every step of the way. And I'm not going to get too deep into that right now because that's not what this video is about. And I have videos about this. But they tried to stop it. And the thing is, it feels good. Black women, even if men are not around, we still twerk and do, like you see black women. I used to teach pole parties all the time with a bunch of chicks. And they twerking on each other. There's no men in sight because it feels good. For me, like there's times that my energy is low. When I put on music that I really like, and I like music that talks to my hips, okay? Music that talks to my hips, and trap music is one of them. And all that shaking and bouncing, it helps to just loosen everything out, shake it off, get your blood flowing, get things undulating, circulating, I don't ever think that I'm disrespecting myself because my booty cheeks are shaking and gyrating. That helps us to loosen things up. It's a part of my mental and physical health for the future, right? But it's so weird because in hip-hop, they're so quick to insult women who are talking about sex, like female rappers who talk about sex, when male rappers talk about sex all the time, in their dick and everything else, right? Why is it wrong when a woman does that? There's women who do have WAP. There are women who make men hypnotized too. There's women who just want men for sex too. Like, all of that exists, right? There are women who want a dude who's good at the shit too. Okay, so all the shit that men talk, women can talk to, and women do. Okay, it's just a lot of men can't handle that and they get upset. They're like, women aren't supposed to be sexual and talking about sex. Nah, okay, let's get that straight. Secondly, talking about sex is way better than talking about violence and talking about killing somebody and putting somebody 6 feet under, which is something that rappers have always, like some people, there's some old heads who say that hip hop now is bad. I disagree with that. I think there's a lot of great hip hop now. And I think there's a lot of great hip hop in the past. I love 90s hip hop and I love hip hop now. Yeah, there's some stuff now that's just, drill music and all that stuff is just ignorant. But then you had a lot of ignorant stuff in the 90s, okay? I came up in the 90s and I remember listening to a lot of hip hop that was offensive to me. A lot of things, like I actually was more offended back then than I am now, okay? I don't mind about somebody rapping about raunchy sex and how they have sex with women or whatever. I don't mind that. Just simply being raunchy and sexual is not disrespectful to me. It's how the delivery is, and I feel like somebody that's inherently sexual and raunchy that's not just disrespectful off the rip, So I definitely feel like I was more offended by hip hop back then, and I get tired of hearing the N word every 2 seconds. Nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that. Nobody ever hears me say that word. Anybody who follows me, you never hear me say that word. And I hate hearing it all day. I'll listen to conversations of black men talking And sometimes women too. And it's these niggas this, and these niggas this, and y'all niggas this, and these niggas this. And I'm like, yo, every 3 seconds, you know how stupid you sound? And then you expect you want to go in front of white people and take us seriously and white supremacy. You sound dumb. Why do you keep saying that? You don't got no other words to say? Because the black people I come from, niggas, okay, was I can't even say it right, because I don't even say that shit. But it was the ignorant black trash. It wasn't a term of endearment or anything like that. So if it's black trash, and a lot of black people do know that because there are black people who use it in that way. Why are we calling ourselves that so much? And then we get treated like niggas, okay? And we treating each other like that. It just doesn't, like, it's just so hypocritical. And then, you know, so I just feel like black women, like, you know, you have the connection between trap music and strip club culture. That's one thing I like about the South. It's one thing I like about going to clubs to strip clubs in the South. I've never been to a strip club in Houston, but I've been to them in Atlanta, New Orleans, and Miami. And you hear so much more Southern hip hop. You know, a whole bunch of songs you never heard before that you don't hear up north when you're down there. And there's a direct relationship with the rappers, their inspiration, and the strip club. Okay, a lot of these men are inspired by the strippers. If the strip club shut down, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. So being in the strip club is inspiring your art. And the music you make inspires the stripper on the pole. All right? And the pole is sacred. There's nothing wrong with strippers and nothing wrong with the pole or none of that. But the music, you know, it's a back and forth of inspiration. I myself love dancing to trap music. And I don't take every single thing that they say seriously because I know it's just like when people blame porn for people having distorted sexual things. I watch porn all the time. I don't feel like I have a distorted idea of sex. I know what I want. Sometimes I only see it in porn and I'm like, it'd be great to manifest this shit in real life because I know it's not unrealistic. I've seen it before, done it before. I know it's not unrealistic. But I don't feel like porn is giving me a warped sense of sex, okay? It might do that for some people, but those people probably already got a warped mind. I don't think that watching porn inherently messes up your sex drive and, you know, all this other stuff that they try to say. So, you know, some people have the ability to keep things where it's at, you know, to separate real life and entertainment, all right? And some people don't. But... you know, I don't respect this super, you know, I gotta have bodies and I don't know, just this super ignorant black hood culture, you know, of like killing people being cool and not talking about it and black people not going hard about it. When a white person kills us, we plaster their picture all over the internet, okay? None of us ever killed him, though. I don't know why George Zimmerman is walking around, but we have so many gangsters who will kill their own people. But George Zimmerman's still walking around? Tell me how that makes sense. Make it make sense. Okay? So, and we terrorize our own people. You go to hoods, a lot of times it's more dangerous being black than white because a lot of times they don't even mess with white people because they feel like, oh, the penalty is greater. So I'm not going to mess with them. I mess with other black people. So some people are loyal to the hood to a fault. If you know you come from a grimy hood where people get killed for no reason, why do you think that you're exempt from that? It just breaks my heart that he didn't move differently because there are a lot of rappers who talk a lot of shit and they're still here. You know, but you know, when somebody's really out to get you, they might get you, but it's just, and so then when he made his song 100 Shots, because they tried to shoot him, they shot at his car 100 times and he made that song, a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't taunt people that's trying to kill you. And that's kind of true, but at the same time, I understand. Like, if you're minding your business and you're not messing with nobody, because I don't know why they try to shoot at him 100 times. I think it's just pure jealousy and it's something I don't know. But if you're just in your lane and people just hate you that much that they trying so hard to take you down and it's not working, you might want to talk some shit and be like, ha, bitch, it didn't even fucking work. Just out of anger. He's human. And that's a human thing to do. And that's a Leo thing to do. See, the thing with Leos, people act like we're so mean. No, we're very sweet, loyal people. But if you cross us, if you come at us sideways, then we have to hurt your feelings. We're cats. Back us up in the corner, we'll scratch your face. We'll roar, we'll bite you, we'll eat you. That's, you know. So it's like, but we minding our business. If you come over here poking, messing with us, and then we, you know, we bring our Leo fire back, People can't handle it. Oh, it's too much. We're too mean. And the anger, the hate just grows. You know, Obama was a Leo. He had to let them know every now and then who he was. And he wasn't even braggadocious like that. But he was the most swagged out president we ever had. But the most beautiful wife we ever had, period. He wasn't like, oh, let me be in the spotlight. The spotlight found him. And the attacks, sometimes he had to be like, you know who I am? Like, that's it. You know, so, and that was a dope song. He was doing so many positive things for the community. And that shows you how, you know, this is why certain black people did have elitist mindsets, because they realize you can't save everybody. And there's a lot of ignorant black people that you just need to let stay there. Trying to save them is not worth it. It sounds fucked up, but it's true. Especially if you have a family to live for and kids to live for. Like, that should have been, don't be out here being reckless like, oh, I know they're going to shoot at me again. I don't know. I can't look. It's done and gone now. But I hate seeing somebody like Nipsey, somebody like Dolph, who black fathers, you know, were in their kids' lives, guiding them, and then that happens. And it's just more black kids and no dad. That's highly disturbing. And I feel like any of the changes that's going to happen around that is going to come from black men. But anyhow, just to sum up this video, I just wanted to talk about that flip side of how, you know, I'm going to be dancing to Dolph all month. I love his music. There's so many dope songs, those beats. I'm from New York, but I have Southern roots, okay? Southern roots. And those beats are some straight Southern pride, Southern roots. And that's the thing I like about a lot of the artists out the South. But Dolph had it, and I liked this. He was a very good rapper, and I liked the swag of what he was saying. So, and it feels good to me. Like right now, there's so much going on in the world, and when I dance and when I always say I can shake my ass, but I'm not a twerker. I'm a twerker in training, right? But it makes me feel so much better. And I can't go to dance classes right now. My dance classes that I love to go to are in the Bay Area and in New York. But in both cities, you got vaccine mandates, you got to wear a mask. I can't do that. It's been months since I've even been to my city. I'm from New York. I live in Chicago. I have gone to New York every single month, sometimes twice a month since I moved here 5 years ago. I haven't been back to New York since August when they put the vaccine mandate in play. And this is the longest I've been away from my city in my whole life, okay? And there's a lot of things in New York that inspires me. You know, I have my dancing, I have my drumming. You know, New Orleans is a city that I went to a lot prior to this. Now, New Orleans got their bullshit, but I feel like I have to go there soon. But New Orleans is another city that inspired me, and a place where I danced a lot. Then you have the Bay Area, where also a lot of dope dance classes. You know, and it's just like I can't even do those things. So the little bit of dancing I can do in my house, in my little space, okay, even that helps. Okay, it helps me feel better. It helps me connect to my body. You know, keep everything, like, you know, you have to be a well-oiled machine. If you don't move it, you lose it. And I do a lot of different styles of dance. What you guys see me do is like 10% of what I can do. If I had space, the cameraman, the drums, I could do a lot more. But I'm just saying that let's stop disrespecting the booty dancers. I have a video I made 3 years ago talking about, you know, don't disrespect the booty dancers, because those are our folkloric dances. Those are our traditional dances. Those are our medicinal dances, okay? Black girls all around the world, we shake and gyrate. There's medicine in that. So if you find yourself thinking, horrified, disgusted, thinking that this woman is disrespecting herself, then understand that you are sounding just like the colonizers. Go look at the primary documents and see what they wrote. I've been studying this stuff for about 20 years, okay? Okay? It's just true. When you study black dance, it opens you up to learning a whole lot of things. So anyhow, pretty girls do love trap music. I have seen plenty of pretty women who are well educated. They're doctors, they're scientists, they're lawyers, they're businesswomen, have a lot of money, well educated and successful. When you throw some trap music on, they definitely dance into it. Definitely turning up to it. If you're a pretty girl who loves trap music, let me know. Let me know in the comments below, okay? I always like to document to help prove my point, do some independent research. So anyhow, I'm gonna stop the video here. I feel like I said everything that I wanted to say. You know, come on. Oh, one more thing in defense of hip hop is that when people talk about, like, even the what hip hop artists say, especially like the raunchiness of it, or I'm like, if you listen to music from other black countries like Jamaica and Brazil, and you translate what they're saying in the songs, there's a lot of songs too that they have that are overtly sexual. The dancing is overtly sexual and raunchy and raw. Okay, so it's not just, and then in Jamaica, all the intense homophobic stuff they would say. And rappers never was anywhere near as homophobic as these dancehall artists, okay? So I'm just saying, in defense of hip hop, they're not the only people in the world that, are being very sexual or, saying things that might be out there, okay? It's not just hip hop. There's other black music forms that also are like that. And so I just wanted that to be said a little bit in defense of hip hop as well. I'm always gonna love hip hop, okay? And there's certain things about it, I don't understand the black hood mentality. Also, of feeling like, you came from nothing, so now you have to be excessive with all these labels and go show it off. Like, I never had that mentality. Never. I mean, I like to be cute, but I've never been like, oh, I have to have this label and that label. I just like well-made clothes. I don't think about labels. And then go show it off. Like, I just don't, I don't think to myself, oh, let me put on a beautiful glittery gold dress and go walk around a bunch of fat girls and walk up and down the street and be like, look at me, don't I look better than you? Like, I just don't understand the mindset of wanting to go floss around people who don't have what you have, can't be as fly as you could be, and you're purposely going to show off. That's another black hood mentality shit I don't get, and it's very much ingrained in hip hop, and not just here, but in other parts of the world. Like in Colombia, I think the statement is dame la papaya, and it's like basically if you walk around with a whole bunch of gold and jewelry, you might get robbed. Okay, so just be smart about it, because if you're in Colombia or some of these countries and you're walking around with $1 million gold chains, you're very likely going to get robbed, and so you have to understand that. So a lot of people understand that in other countries and don't even do that. Now, if you're going to do that here, you just got to make sure you always got a lot of security. But I mean, I'm just saying, it's not just people here it's not just here where that happens, where you can get robbed and killed because you got on all this jewelry or whatever. And I don't blame black people for wanting to be fly. I like jewelry, but I feel like a lot of these rappers, they're not getting it simply because they like it. They're getting it for the status thing, which also existed in indigenous societies as well. And they're in defense of hip hop and rappers. That's always existed, jewelry, and status. So I'm saying that it says a lot of different angles and ways to look at it. Regardless, I don't think that any of it means that Dolph should have died or not be here. I don't think he did anything to deserve that. I think that it was just pure hate and jealousy, and just shows you what somebody being so jealous and hateful of you can do to you. I've been in relationships with people like that. So even when he says he doesn't trust bitches, and he said it all the time, even though he was with a great woman who he trusted to raise his kids, and he had his kids with the same black woman, right? It was dedicated to his family. But I understand what he means, because I never want to be the type of woman that's like, I don't trust dudes. And I'm not going to say that I don't, okay? But I'm going to say most of them I don't. Because my experience with men, I've been with men who've been jealous of me and acting like they're my competition, instead of building me up to breaking me down, or doing things to try to try to break me down. And I've known women who've done the same thing, right? So it makes it hard for me to trust a lot of people, period. I mean, I do have good friends, but I've experienced it at both ends. But in relationships, there's nothing worse when you're sleeping with the enemy. And that's some people too. Some people be with people who be straight jealous of them. Like, if I'm with somebody and they're amazing, I'm going to be proud of them and uplifting them, I've known dudes who was the opposite. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to leave that there. Rest in peace, Dolph. If you don't know about, his wife and her work, I definitely suggest checking it out. Mad love to his kids. Whoever did it, I hope they seriously get their karma. But we know life doesn't always work that way. A lot of times, evil people live forever, okay, and the good die young, which is unfortunate. The trauma that happens to black men, it also affects black women just as equally, because it's taking our husbands and our fathers away, okay? And I wish I could just see more black men stand up and try to do something about it. But again, everybody cannot be saved. And, sometimes when you come from a lot of trauma, you don't value your life as much. Okay, so and there's a lot of ways to look at it, and I know that I didn't come from that broken home, so I can't relate to what that is. But I've known people who came from situations like that, and it seems to always haunt them and affect them. So I take all that into consideration when I think about Dolph and who he was. But overall, I think that he was a positive person who made great music, and he was doing great things for his kids and for the community. I'm going to continue to dance to his music because in honor of New Orleans' ways of doing things, dance for the dead, uplift that energy. And I'm going to say again, and I'm going to keep saying it, that twerking is an art form. It's a dance. It's what black women like to do to these trap beats. And it is the positive end of it, because twerking and dancing is not getting nobody killed. But the men who are going out and killing people because of trap music and talking about killing people in trap music, that's way worse. Way worse. The women, we're bringing make love, not war. Make love, not war. I'm sure no one's getting shot at a Megan Thee Stallion concert. At a concert, because she's not rapping about shooting and killing, and she's rapping about sex, her booty, all of that. Make love, not war. That's what I prefer. I'd rather deal with the sexual, with the half naked, which is how we were before we were colonized by this patriarchal crap. I prefer that over violence and death and gruesomeness. Okay? So, just adding my perspective. Rest in peace, young Dolph, and pretty girls love trap music. And I will talk to you guys later. If you're on IG and you don't follow me on YouTube, be sure to follow me at the Renaissance Amazon, especially because they keep threatening my page. And if you're on YouTube and you don't follow me on IG, be sure to follow me on IG. I'll put all my links below. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on all my platforms, because you never know what could happen. Anyhow, I hope you guys are well and have a good day. Bye.